Well, greetings everyone, and a hearty shalom to you who do believe. I did a dumb butt earlier. I don't have to tell anybody about it because only a few do know about it that I had wrote, and I told them here tonight that I was keeping the Feast of Trumpets, and yes, I was absolutely incorrect, but my paperwork here, I don't know if you can see it here, or I can't see my self in what I'm using now because I got a new camera. I'm just thankful to find a site that will go ahead and record without time limitations. But anyway, the Feast of Trumpets was supposed to be kept here at the end of the Sabbath. So me, allergenic dumbass, ASP that is, dunass, I just started keeping the feast anyway. Highly allergic here. The honeysuckles and such are blossoming. The goldenrod is blossoming. I went out to a piston and flywheel convention in upstate New York, out in the fields, and I haven't been outside in quite a while, and everything is just in bloom for some reason, and whew, it's just knocked me. I was earlier, I wasn't going to bring a video. I'm really got allergies, so I'm kind of giddy. Plus, I also had a really great experience from starting the Feast of Trumpets early. I wrote a few people and explained, that, hey, boy, it's so great. I'm going to have this Black Angus, these nice ribeyes that I got, and I koshered them up just for tonight, I'll tell you, and start the Feast of Trumpets right. And I wrote my beautiful bride, man, and I told her, because she's a long way away from me, and it's like, hey, boy, I just hope you're going to enjoy that Feast of Trumpets, yeah, I'm blowing them for you, thousands of miles away, I'm blowing them early for you. And she kind of writes me back really nice, and she says, well, I'm not keeping them tonight. I'm going to keep them tomorrow. And I was at work, and I saw the crescent, so I'll be keeping it. I'm like, oh, man. And she puts a calendar of the moon, and I'm looking at it, and these allergies have got me so bad, it's like, wow, I can't believe it. So I went ahead and I opened up Farmer's Almanac and took a look at their moons, and I'm like, well, this is all absolutely correct according to my calculations, I'm like, yeah, there it is, right here. The 8th is sundown till the 9th. Oh, it's the 7th. It didn't start until tomorrow night. And I wrote a couple others, So when I'm wrong, I'll let you know I'm wrong, okay? I had everything written down. I made videos on it. But I'm telling you, I'm that wacky, and my lips feel like Louis Armstrong there, because I was blowing the trumpet, boy. And I was rejoicing, but I was incorrect, okay? So our King has mercy on who he's going to have mercy on. It doesn't matter how great I keep the laws or not, if I'm doing my utmost to do so. And like I say, I put out videos and everything, man, but it's a double Sabbath, I showed my bride the days that she needed to offer the feast and everything, and she was so brilliant in the way that she corrects me, and that's how real women, daughters of our Father and sisters to our King should be toward their spouses, their husbands, their heads even, okay? And she humbles me so greatly in the way she handles these matters. I know she's going to be over kings of the earth, okay? Because the kings of the earth, they don't have wisdom. They have money, they have power, they don't have morals, and it's sad to say they don't have the laws, which a lot of people have problems when they first hear the laws. Oh man, I have to do something. Well, you know, our Creator, He actually gave these laws and said, you live by these and I will love you. It's written right there in the Ten Commandments where He says it. And He also tells you about these Sabbath days. See, He gives us like 613 laws combined between all of us in a body that we can keep them all. Because, I mean, there's 144,000 that were called. We didn't have a choice. No, okay? It's the same thing with our disciples of our King. He told them, He says, hey, He says, you didn't choose me. I chose you. And that's what our King did to me. And it's not my fault. He looked at me and said, hey, I chose you. I couldn't say yes and I couldn't say no. But I did do everything that I was told to do. And then I found out later. See, I was a warlock. I was all kinds of things, man. I mean, I was a sinner. I ate pork and clams. I loved fried clams, man. Boy, those are so great. Until I ran into some sand. As soon as I hit the sand, I couldn't eat no more. Same thing with eggs. If I'm eating an egg scrambled, or it doesn't matter, whatever way it is. If I bite into a shell, forget it, man. I don't want the rest of the egg. It's nothing to do with pride. I just prefer not to do so. So I started coming into further knowledge the more that I applied myself into reading the scriptures. Now, mind you, I was a witch, okay? I was a warlock. He called me out of my father's house. There was a booming voice that I heard, and it said I had to leave my father's house and go find gold to build my father's house with. And me, you know, I mean, I just took off on the road and that was it. I made myself homeless, found myself in Las Vegas for a while, you know, and I was starving so bad, I was so weak. I don't know how many days I had gone without food. And, you know, I mean, I had the best of food at one time in my life. And I gave up all that and took off and went and I did find some gold, but, you know, the winter was getting pretty bad. It was coming in there. I was up in Colorado, ended up down in Las Vegas, like I was saying, and I was starving, man. I didn't have no job or anything. I come to realize people couldn't get a job if they didn't have a phone and an address. So a lot of homeless people, man, they're like, what can they do? They can get food stamps, you know. You know, but as far as getting a job, no, man, you got to have all kinds of stuff. When you're homeless, you know, sometimes you don't have your Social Security number or anything, you know. So I opened up a ministry when I got to Texas that helped out homeless people. We got all the necessary paperwork, got them cleaned up and everything, put them back out where they needed to be. But here I'm in Las Vegas before that, and I'm starving, going, man, what do I do? I'm still a warlock, but I've been called out and I've been obedient, just like Father Abraham was, you know, and I'm nowhere near Father Abraham. I'm his offspring. This is, you know, greetings, everyone. I'm one of those that our King said, if you are a child of Father Abraham, do the works. The what? The works of Father Abraham. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the works of Father Abraham. That's what I'm trying to do anyway. I'm a brother to our king. I want to introduce you to him. And the only way you're going to ever see him is by these commandments and laws. And there ain't that many laws that you have to keep. And I know I forgot something. Hopefully I'll pick it up in the next video. But like I say, I got these allergies. I'm glad I got my nose where it quit running. And I'm not going to read the scriptures that you need to read. Just a snippet of it. And you read the rest on these so that it'll cut down on time. To show you, you know, that the Sabbath, our Father, man, he added to his law, and he can do that because he's on the top side of it. And he promises you things for keeping those very things that he's keeping. So he's doing more than the rest of us. There's 4 million laws in New York and Wisconsin and Oregon and California and Michigan. Every state, man, has got over 4 million laws. Why do you think the prisons are running over? They runneth over. Why? They've got over 4 million laws in every state. No matter what you do, for the most part, they can make it illegal or make it look as though it is. And then the attorneys are in with them as well. I don't even want to get into those things. I mean, they won't investigate. You got TV to show you, oh, look at that. That was a great cop show, boy. I'll tell you, the bad guys, they always get caught. Well, what if the bad guys were the guys that are running the show? That's why they murdered me, okay? Enoch talked about me. They can't kill me. And if they do, it's still going to be investigated. So, the scriptures are true. No matter what I say. Scriptures are true. I've been wrong. When I'm wrong, I apologize. And I don't know what I'm going to do after viewing this video myself, because it's like, wow, man. I got my nose cleaned out, but my brain is just so full of pollen. I'm losing the fever I was starting to get, so I'm feeling a lot better there, but I got to get this message out. It's a Sabbath. It's the first time I'm just trying this camera. I don't even know if this thing's taken or not, and I hope it does, because there's some great information, guys. Is a collective body. We have to keep 613, give or take, laws. Now, a lot of those laws are duplicate. They'll tell you not to do this, which in the same point is like to do this. To not steal, do not steal. Kind of thing, okay? And not saying you're going to find a law that says exactly that. My brain is not firing on all pistons. But I got to tell you, you know, that if you start keeping such laws as the Sabbath, it's going to bring problems. It really does, okay? Because carnal minds are at enmity with our Father in the laws. They're at enmity. They're at war. Carnal, human, our own desires, our, oh, we got to have, and it's mine, and I don't care what you say about it. It's not right. But we do it. I don't do it. I say we because we're of the human race. There's no black, there's no white, there's no yellow, there's no red. If you took and skinned somebody completely, several, okay, everyone that you want to call a race, that's a human being, and you skinned them alive and stuck them to the wall. Sounds pretty gross, yeah. But then you look at them, you'd never know which one was black and which one was white. You check their blood, you know, unless it's like, I think, RH or whatever, you'd never know what they was. So, these races, there's only one, the human race. And because of this, and it speaks of the 12 tribes, and from each tribe is 12,000. Well, there are so many people on this earth today that have Hebrew blood in them. I mean, they even was doing research on trying to find out who was the true Levites, and by DNA. They found out it was Africans. Oh boy, they shut down the studies, okay? But yeah, that's why Africa's cursed, because, well, we're not getting into that. We're going to explain that there's very few laws that you probably have to keep to have salvation. And I'll tell you, 2 major laws. That's the 7th-day Sabbath and the feast of our Heavenly Father. They're the hardest laws for you to be able to keep, because you got to do them outwardly. You're not supposed to be working on the Sabbath. You're supposed to be keeping the feasts, which Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Trumpets, will be starting here. Soon as Sabbath's over here, and right now it's 4:36 in the morning on the 8th of September. So when the sun comes up and sets again is when the Feast or Day of Trumpets will begin. And my penance for starting too early and telling others to do so, which is great, it's a Sabbath anyway, you know, I made the mistake, I was wrong. And when I blow the trumpets tomorrow, ooh, boy, I mean, my lips are already hurting from it. But the Sabbath, okay, I want to be specific here. If you can keep the Sabbath, you may lose your job. It's not easy. But there's better jobs. I mean, it's a step of faith. And sometimes you have to go pretty low if you're going to follow the king. And that's why he says, you know, in those days, people on the average today are wealthy people. Compare if you had what you have right now and was transported back into the days of our king, you'd be considered rich. You got more than 2 changes of clothing. How many shoes do you have? Yeah, that was wealthy people's garments. You put those things on and you had a trunk full of shoes and went down the road, people would be following you like the goddess. Yeah, that's what they'd be doing. But we're talking about keeping the Sabbath. And there's a blessing in it that I want you to look into. You need to read, if you would, Exodus 31, verse 13. I'm going to read it, but I want you to read Exodus 31. Read the whole chapter. It says, "Speak also to the children of Israel, saying, Surely my Sabbath you shall keep." Who's saying this? This is our Father saying this to Moshe. "For it is a sign." What's a sign? "Surely my Sabbath you shall keep. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations." Throughout your generations. People, have the generations ceased? Did they cease and desist by court order of man yet? Not even then. Anyone you know got a grandchild? Well, hello. That means another generation. And this is to be kept throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahweh who sanctifies you. That is from keeping a law. It's actually one of the 10 commandments. So if you're not keeping the Sabbath, you're not keeping one of the 10 commandments. Another of the 10 commandments is where he says that I love those who love me because they keep the commandments. Is anything clicking in your heart in your inward part, maybe feel like you got swiftly kicked in the spiritual groin, yes, that's what you should have going if you're not keeping these commandments. That's Holy Spirit telling you. Because there are commandments you're keeping, and you get little bits of Holy Spirit when you do keep them. Read it for yourself in Romans 7, verse 14. It says, for the law is spiritual. So if you're keeping any of the laws, like not murdering, not stealing, not fornicating, not committing adultery, not removing your neighbor's landmark, his post, his whatever it is, that shows where his property line is. You don't move it this away or that away. If you don't do these things, like it says not to, then you get a little Holy Spirit in you. I mean, some people are pretty decent folk because they keep a lot of them. But the thing is, if they're breaking the Sabbaths, then they're not of our Father. And that's not easy to tell someone. But read it for yourself. Like I say, Exodus 31. Read the whole chapter. I read 13. Now I want to also read here in Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 12. And remember, our Father's keeping more of these laws than you are. He's keeping them all. Because we are. As a body, we're doing it. I can't keep the menstrual laws, fellas. I'm sorry. I don't have a period. You know, except for when I'm writing. And then I got a lot of them. So I like the period, period, period. I do that for emphasis. Exodus, or Ezekiel, man, everybody ought to go out there and just sniff those honeysuckles. I mean, they smell beautiful, but boy, they slam me, man. Ezekiel 20, verse 12. Moreover, I also gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between them and me. That's our Father saying between you, if you'll keep the Sabbath. He's got it there as a sign between them and me, that they might know that I am Yahweh who sanctifies them. In Ezekiel 20, verse 20. Read the whole chapter, but I wanted to point out this for emphasis. Hallow my Sabbaths, and they will be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I am Yahweh your Father. Now it puts these other lords and gods in there, the names of the Canaanite deities and such, that the children went a-whoring after. But I want to keep this as short as possible. I didn't pray yet, so I believe that we should, and then I'll cut this off after I let you know about Hebrews chapter 4 as well. You need to read that, folks. I've heard before by these Christian preachers and such that tell you, oh, well, it's not in the New Testament to keep the Sabbath. Sure, Yahshua did, or your Jesus did, or whatever did, you know. But that was before he was nailed to the cross. And all the 613 nails in there. He did it all for you, just like the fellow, you know, comes up to a stop sign. He stops. You're behind him in the car. It's a busy intersection, and he gets a little narrow escape. He takes off. So what do? You run right out in traffic, because why? Well, he kept the law for you. He kept the stop sign, you know. Our king kept the stop sign. It doesn't mean you're not going to die if you break the law. He tells you right straight out in many scriptures, okay? Matthew 5:17 through the end. I'm thankful, Yahshua, for putting that in my brain here for me, because I haven't got any brain in me right now. But it tells you, don't even think that I have come to do away with or abolish the law or the prophets. The Sabbath days are laws, and it's in the alleged New Testament. And he even says in verse 9 of Hebrews 4, There remaineth therefore a rest. Yeah, it's a word you can alternate for Sabbath. It's a day of rest. Sabbath. Work 6 days, the seventh you shall rest. It's a Sabbath unto thee. There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh. But then there's those that won't enter in because of disbelief. Will it be you? I hope not. I mean, there's only two major things, like I say, Sabbaths and feast days that are upon us. Please look at the videos I brought on this. And let's do a quick prayer. Holy Spirit's already on this video, but a quick prayer so we can keep this under 30 minutes. I didn't know I have a little timer there, so I can quit this. All right. Father Yahweh, we do praise you and thank you on this great, mighty Sabbath that you've created for man. Not man for the Sabbath, but the Sabbath for man, that we may rest from the works of our hands and the toils that we do. But I know your work never rests, Father. Yahshua never rested. He healed on the Sabbath. We praise you for that. And we thank you for your righteous Son. Yahshua, we praise you. We thank you for all things. We ask that you'll open the minds of all those who are hearing, that they may see, that they may hear, and that they may understand, that they may grow in your truth and seek you even further, that you may answer them, that we may help them get their robes washed in your precious blood, Yahshua, is what I'm asking. Things are coming down pretty fast. There are a lot that are awakening. May they awaken and keep your feast even now, so they can see that there is faith on this earth when you do return. We ask this in your righteous name, Yahshua, and because of your name and for your name's sake, we ask that it be done. Hallelujah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for stopping by. If this works out well, I don't even know if this video is going to take, so it doesn't matter. If not, I'm going to go to bed, hopefully wake up maybe used to being dingy or getting over it. I got to wash my sinus out again. So I'm praying for you all before I go to bed, and I'll be praying for you all night and day from now on, either till our King returns or until I run out of breath. And I'm going to try to remember what I forgot. There was something I forgot in this video. And there was some relevance to what I was saying. But oh yes, I was in Las Vegas. And I was starving. This is before I came to real understanding. I was still a warlock. And I'm looking behind McDonald's, and I noticed that a worker came out and they had a tray of all these burgers that had wrappers on them, and they tossed them in the bin, in the dumpster. And there must have been 2 more days. 2 more days, man. I was getting so weak. I could barely walk in there to grab some. But I actually did. I went in there and I grabbed some and I ate. I couldn't even eat a whole hamburger. I was so shrunk up. But that was a test and a trial on me. One of the worst, because I had the best of foods growing up. Not always. There was times, you know, that for quite long stints we had nothing but oatmeal. And on Fridays we had some milk and sugar with our oatmeal, and it went away. It dwindled pretty quick, you know. We got that in government subsidies, I guess you could say it was, surplus foods that was given away to those that was poor. And it wasn't that we were, I mean, we were actually middle-aged. It's just my dad's houses got burning down in businesses and such, and they didn't have insurance at the time, you know, to have on things. So when you got burned out, you lost it all. And same thing with houses, but they still had mortgages. So, you know, it's nothing like what some might want to say. It was a tough upbringing, but I had, in the later years, you know, 13 years old, I started going to work in the mucklands, crawling up and down quarter-mile long rows of onions, pulling weeds out into the ditch, okay, just so that I could help my family. And my brothers did the same, so we started getting ourselves back up by the bootstrap, got things taken care of a lot better, and we started eating better. But here I was called out of my dad's house and told to go build my father's house with gold. And it was a tough time, man. I did exactly what I was told. And I was looking at that dumpster, man, thinking, boy, but I was still a warlock. I had all the witchcraft books and still burning candles and everything, but our king watched over me then. And those of you that are calling on God and Lord and Jesus and all that, I'm not going to tell you to stop, okay? If you're having success in using it because you may have a little faith, okay? And having a little faith, even the size of a seed of mustard, you can say to the mountain to be moved and it can be moved. So even in those names, because you are keeping some of the commandments, you are keeping some of the laws. You are already, like I say, the two major ones that you're probably not keeping is the Sabbath and the feast days. I mean, if you're a child molester, you need to quit that shit, man, I find out you're going to be in a world of hurt. And I'm sure other people find out too. That's why you're a rat. You're a damn snake, aren't you? Reptilians. That's what most of you are, reptilians. Stealing our children and eating them. But, people, you're going to have to wake up. I'm sorry. You're going to have to look in the news and such. You're going to have to pray that you may have your minds open, that you can not be enmity with our Father's law. Because if you're enmity with it, if you are an enemy of it, then these videos will do you no benefit, because you'll hate them, and But if you can hear what I'm saying, and you can apply yourself, just remember, man, you're keeping most of the laws already. Now, the menstrual laws, women, please, you're going to have to go ahead and get better with that stuff, because you don't want to go to a brother's house and pollute his house. There should be certain chairs in someone's dwelling or whatever for when somebody's unclean, so you don't spread it, okay? They can sit in certain spots. It's not like anyone's got leprosy, it's just that you want to contain. If you got the flu, are you going to go around shaking everybody's hand, I hope not. I think that's what's going to be taking place here soon anyway. They've already quarantined a couple planes and such, and things are looking grim, people. I hope you're not a doubting Thomas there that has to see to believe, because it's so much better if you was to believe. You get the mark, you get the sign of our Father. He promised you this. If you just keep the Sabbath, and they're going to hate you for it. They're going to want to fire you and everything. But if you put your trust in our Father through His righteous Son, full trust, do whatever you got to do that's lawful, our King will see you through. We all have to be tested and tried. Okay? And it's not easy. I've been through most of it, so I could tell you about it, so you don't even have to do it. There's a number no man can count. You can, come out before too awful long here, and we're going to help them get their robes washed in the blood of the Lamb. And they're not going to have so many tests and trials as us. A lot of them are probably going to be put to death so they can prove that they did believe. It's going to be a lot shorter time, people. And there's a lot of things I see that I don't even want to say. All I'm asking is that you consider these laws and commandments. You're keeping most of them. Just try the Sabbath, man. Stop buying and selling, and don't look for your own entertainments, but look for knowledge. Put knowledge in your head. That's the only thing you're ever going to keep. When you're dead and gone, okay, you turn back to dust. Then our King comes around, and He's got these ever-ready batteries, and He plugs them into you again, and poof, you come back. Nobody goes to heaven or hell. There ain't no purgatory. You know, you're either going to be hot or cold, or he's going to puke you up. I don't want to be cleaning up puke, you know. So if I can help you people, man, please. Oh, please, let me help you. I want to show you our King. I want you to see him. I want you to know him like I know him, like my bride knows him. And she loves him, man. You know, that's why she loves me. Because I love him too. And she can correct me. There's no anger. There's repentance. And repentance means I'm going to do my best not to do it again. But I'm so horrible. I mean, I figured out the dates. I did it. I figured out the dates. It was verified by everyone. I just was keeping a different date. Hay fever. Sucketh greatly. Hey, we'll see y'all. And remember, guys, it's a collective body. We keep all the laws together. It's easy to get in the kingdom. Just get over them 2 hurdles, man. Keeping the feasts and keeping the 7th-day Sabbath. Hardest. But they're the most blessed. You get a sign from keeping them. It's not the same as the sign that most already have, which is the mark of the beast, because they break these commandments and laws. Right now, most everybody has it. Very few have the mark or the sign of our Father. I want you to join us. Are you a warrior? Have you a backbone? Please join up. And let's take this here kingdom back for our King. Let us prepare for him when he gets here, and let him know that he's been loved and that we thought of him often. Till we meet again, my friends, see you later, and shalom to you who believe. And keep away from all the